style started to develop more and more. You see, previously in To All Masak, Jeff had all these songs written. He'd had them written for years, like since like fucking 1955 or however old Jeff is. And a lot of them were, you could clearly see, you know, he has this creative approach to things, but it was very different. And then my style was much more direct, much more kind of brutal death oriented. So the newer songs that we started writing with Deformatory were like amalgamations of Jeff's previous completed songs mashed in with mine. And then where things really started to develop is when Jeff and I would be writing brand new songs, like a clean slate. His ideas mashed together with my ideas, and that's what really fused in the beginning what the Deformatory riffs were. Now, just like any other fucking band, we had gone through like 1,000 lineup changes. Like, it wasn't just Neil, Daryl, Jeff, and myself. I mean, we have gone through like maybe 10 different bass players over the years. And actually, at one point, Neil left the band. I mean, you know, he had some stuff going on. Who fucking knows, you know? But and he wanted to concentrate on his rock band. And you know, there was some internal issues, just like in any other band. I mean, like, put it to you this way: I mean, fucking like Jeff and Neil have known each other their entire lives, so familiarity breeds contempt, and I'll just keep it at that. A lot of things happened. Unfortunately, Neil had to leave the band. And we got this other drummer, Jake Hansen. Interesting character that guy was. And he really wanted to play death metal, but never did before. Never used double kicks, was completely new to the whole thing. But he wanted to join. And I think he actually ended up buying a kit from Neil, which is like fucking amazing in itself. And that guy loved that fucking kit and learned how to play double bass and learned to play some of the older stuff. And that's when we started writing some of the newer material and mashing things together. And I think we recorded 3 tracks in total with Jake as our drummer. We did an EP called Prelude of, or In Prelude, I forget what it's called. I should probably know this. We recorded that. We recorded that EP with Bart from Quo Vadis. Yeah, so we recorded the EP there, and then we did a single called Believe the Lie, and we recorded that with Mike Bond here in Ottawa, and all those things were done in 2011. But yeah, I mean, those early recordings or early songs, for me, I cringe now when I listen to them. Mostly because, you know, like, there's a lot of different elements that like are not my thing. Like, I'm not into the clean vocal aspect, especially into extreme death metal. So it was something we experimented with at the time, and but yeah, it just did not jive, I think, with all of us. And after a while, we started getting to the point where we didn't really like how things were going vocally. And so there was talks for a long time about maybe changing vocalists or letting Daryl go. But you know, he was like one of the OGs, one of the original guys, and it was a long, tough decision that you know, should have happened probably a lot earlier on. But you know, because he was a friend, because he was like part of the band, we let it go on for maybe a lot longer than it should. But yeah, so actually we ended up. The band decided to kick him out like while we were recording our first album, In the Wake of Pestilence. Now, let me back up. Jake only lasted like a year or two, and then he was completely done with the band. But the thing that was fucked up about it is that we had this big show in like 6 or 7 weeks with Cryptopsy, one of our favorite bands. And so we had this big show lined up with them, and now we didn't have a drummer. So we reached out to Neil, and said, "Hey, Neil, we're playing with fucking Cryptopsy. We need you. We want you to play. You know, is it something you could do? Can you just like fill in?" Man, Neil fucking banged out, learned these 5 or 6 songs. A lot of them were new. He'd never played before. Learned that shit in less than a week or 2. We had done a couple of rehearsals and banged out the show. It was our best show that we've ever played because, you know, fucking Neil was back behind the kit. We all felt like that was like the missing component. So we were fucking so stoked to have Neil back behind the kit at that time to play the show. And then we had managed to manipulate him to stick around. And you know, now it's been like 6-7 years and he's back in the fold. And so as soon as Neil got back in, we started making plans on writing and recording our first album.